In this episode, I have just 24 hours to trade my way all the way from this little Coleman mini bike all the way up to this Harley Davidson Fatboy. Let's get into it.
Feeling like a small fish in a big pond. I think I'll go back where I came from, where everybody knows my name. My friends are still the same. I guess the slow life hit me just right, like a bonfire on a cold night. Hell, and you can keep your 9 to 5, happy with the simple life.
Well, top of the morning to you laddies. My name is ULM Buck. As you heard directly from the intro, we have about 24 hours to trade our way from this tiny Coleman TC100. It's like a $500 scooter from Tractor Supply all the way up to a Harley Davidson Fatboy. I don't really have much time, so I have only my phone, $0, my slight mechanical knowledge, and Facebook Marketplace to my advantage. I have to trade with no money all the way up to this Fatboy. And right away from the get-go, my first lead is an old Honda 4Trax that doesn't run just south of a Ma and Pa gas station on the south side of the map. So let's not waste our time and let's get right on the road. Now, if you guys have not already, be sure to smash that like button, subscribe down below. If you'd like to see more slightly dumb content like this, be sure to let me know in the comments in the description down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, as I would, if anybody knows, I actually have one of these little Colemans, and it's stupid. It's so stupid, but it's so much fun. If you had to pick between this thing and a massive dirt bike, there's a very high chance you would pick this. But as we cruise at a very unreasonable 50 miles per hour, my first challenge is going to be, it's a Honda. Clean out the car, possibly spit on it, and maybe give it a kick, and this thing probably will start up. My goal afterwards is there is a three-wheeler that I know a farmer's been looking at getting rid of and is looking for something a little bit more stable, as we might call it. And I want to see if I can swindle that three-wheeler out from under him so I can try and trade for something even a little bit better. And rolling up to the Ma and Pa shop, there is our Honda. Yeah, sir, so I was looking at your ad on Facebook Marketplace. You're looking to get rid of the 4Trax. I know you say it doesn't run. You're having some problems with it, but hey, no problem. We can definitely look into that. I am actually looking to trade. That bike's worth about $300-400 on its own, so if you wanted to, I'm trying to do a little challenge to trade it all the way up into a Harley. But if you actually would be willing, I mean, I can definitely do a trade right for this. I will take it right off your hands. I'll work on it right here with my own 2 hands, and I'll see if I can get it running. If that's the case, you could keep the bike. I'll take the 4-wheeler, and we sing Kumbaya. How about that? Perfect. So I'll kind of get to work on this, and we'll see what we can do for the deal. And after checking my spark gap, which looked to be a little small, we just kind of pried my finger underneath there a little bit so I could pull the spark plug gap. Just widen it out just a little bit. Probably could use a new spark plug. See if it starts. Purrs like a kitten. Awesome. So we got our first task of the day done. We got rid of the Coleman. Thank you, sir. I will be leaving that bike there for you, and you have a good one. Oh, hello. Okay, so with our first trade in the books, the next thing I have my eyes set on is this Honda Big Red 3-wheeler. It's actually in pretty solid condition, but I'm going to have to sweet-talk this farmer into maybe giving me just a trade straight up, as he said he was looking for something that just had a little bit more stability while he was riding around the farm checking crops and cattle. But we'll see if we can sweet-talk our way into possibly getting this thing for pretty much free, trading it straight up and losing a wheel, but hey, that's actually a pretty good trade deal for something down the road. Hello, Terry? Yeah, my name's Buck here. I was just going to give you a call. I actually am in the market and looking to buy your 3-wheeler, but I wondered if you actually be interested in a trade. I noticed that you said in the description that you were looking to get something a little bit more stable and probably just more, a little bit safer, I think you were trying to get at. And I actually have this really solid running Honda 4Trax. This is a 4-wheeler, but you do have a tow hitch on the back, so you don't lose any functionality of that. It's got really great pulling power, and you got 4 wheels on the ground instead of 3. No, you said you were looking at something of that, and well, that's a bit newer than this. I mean, this is 80s, and that's a 90s. If you really were looking at it, I'd be willing to just trade it straight up, if you had something you'd be interested in. You actually would? Well, cool. If you're good with that, I'll just trade straight up. No nonsense. Well, thank you, Terry. I hope you have a great day and enjoy your 4-tracks. So that is that. Bought it sight unseen. It seems to be running pretty well. This is a manual. I did tell him that I didn't forget to tell him that was a semi, so he doesn't have to worry about that. But now we have traded our way straight to a Honda 3-wheeler. But now that I actually have this on my hands, I might be able to get something pretty valuable because this is a pretty good condition, one of these. And I don't know exactly what I'm going to be able to get for it, but one thing I might have in mind is there's a guy on the other side of town, or should I say just outside of town, that actually has an old station wagon derby car. Now, it might not look like much, but they're looking for something just to have maybe the kids ride around on as he's trying to get out of the derby league and into something that might just be a little bit more toned down. What I'm hoping for out of this one is that I might have enough leeway to have somebody who wants to pull the motor. So without further ado, let's make our way over to this derby car. This might be one of my harder trades to negotiate with because as much as I like the 3-wheeler and I really think it can make for a good trade, I don't know if it's going to be enough to swindle. But I might be getting better at my negotiation skills, so I'm gonna hold my head high and hopefully I could sweet talk a guy into trading a derby car for an old Honda 3-wheeler. All right, so this should be the address. Now, the guy's name here is Andrew, and yep, there is the derby car. So let's see what we can do with Andrew. Hey, Andrew, I have a bit of a deal here for you. I don't have any cash on me, but I'd be willing to do a trade. Believe me when I tell you this, but that 3-wheeler over there is worth quite a bit of money. That's actually a pretty solid, well-built, low-mileage machine. I'd be willing to trade that straight up for this car. I know it might be a bit of a stretch, but think about it. You could probably resell that 3-wheeler down the road for quite a bit more than you could this. And plus, the more you beat up on this old derby car, the less it's going to be worth, the more beat up the motor parts are going to be. It gets a lot less space to take up with that 3-wheeler. I mean, come on, I'd be really worth to just trade it straight up. Don't even have it. You take the 3-wheeler, I take the derby car. If it runs and it drives, I can definitely move around with it, but it gets it out of your hair, you don't have to worry about it, and you get a really good deal off the 3-wheeler. You'd be willing to do that? Awesome, bud. If you can just kind of help me, like, at least get it started to where I can drive it, that'd be fantastic. All right, so what do I got to push to get this thing started? It looks like it doesn't even have a key ignition. Oh, it's a push button? Okay, hang on. Ooh! Very nice. Well, Andrew, thank you for your time. Let me give you that firm old Texas handshake. And, well, I mean, at least it gets into gear all right. Well, now that we have a vehicle with no title, no safety measures, no turn signals, no headlights, no nothing, I think it's time we take the reasonable step and plan our next move. If we pop over to my phone here again for Facebook Marketplace, there is a listing for a 1990 Chevrolet IROC Camaro. This is just a V6. However, the guy is looking for a project to be able to pull a V8 motor out, being the 350 that's probably in this Chevy Caprice wagon, and install it in a couple other of his projects and build something. So my goal is to see if I can trade this derby car directly for this V6 IROC that's not in the greatest of shape. It's definitely seen better days, but it'll allow me to have at least a footing where he can get his motor. Let's see if we can do it. And with no idea whether or not if I'm going to get pulled over, I got to try and take as many back roads to get to this place as possible. My GPS says all I can do is I can take a left at this road, and then I kind of miss going directly through town. This thing is riding looser than a goose, and I can't see anything out with the exhaust pipe or the mesh, but we'll figure it out. Well, howdy there, Jason. Glad I could be of service to you this morning. I know by your Facebook Marketplace listing, you're looking to sell or trade your IROC here. I know it's got some rust on it, but I'm looking to make a trade, okay? I'm willing to trade you this derby car for that Camaro. Here's my reasonings why. I can take you for a ride if you would like. I can prove it to you. You're not getting hoaxed. This old station wagon has a 454 in it. It's got power, it's got torque, it's got everything you're looking for. The car itself is not pretty. I can understand that, but you throw whatever garbage motor that you want in this thing and just take it to the county fair and maybe win a couple $100. You can't really go wrong with it because there's nothing really you can do about it. But you could pull the motor, put some long tube hooker headers on it, throw a bigger cam in it. Not that much expense, and I'm literally willing to just trade you straight up. I don't have a title to this because it's a wrecked piece of garbage, but I'm willing to trade it straight up. If we go for a ride, you'll think about it. Okay, I could definitely do that. What do you think about them apples? It might be loud, but we're going pretty quick. You'll take the deal? Nice. All right, there's no brakes. There's hardly any brakes. Okay. Alrighty then. Thank you, Jason. Thank you for the keys. I'm just trading it sight unseen. I'm not even gonna worry about how well she drives. I'm just, yeah. So thank you, sir. And with that, we have officially scored our first, probably best trading asset that we've had. This Camaro's interior is definitely seen better days. It's an automatic V6, but it's an IROC Camaro. So that's what we have going for us, is the word Camaro. Now my next lead is this 2004 Chevy Monte Carlo with the 3800. It's not anything super fancy, but it definitely has a little bit lower miles, and with the 3800, I think that's going to be a really great bargaining tool for anybody looking for half-decent performance with relatively good gas mileage. So let's hit the road in our IROC and see if we can't swindle our way into a Monte Carlo. Now the guy's description of what he's looking for this is a trade for either another two-door coupe, something like a Camaro or a Firebird. He just never really specified exactly what the vehicle has to be or the condition, so we're gonna see if we can't trade. This car, in rough condition, you could probably get maybe 6-7 grand for. This car we're trying to buy is about 5-6 grand worth, so this is our Monte here. Actually, I'm just gonna kind of park on the street. I'll go talk to this gentleman. His name, by the, if I can remember the ad correctly, I might have to look. I think it's Gregory. All right, Gregory. Hey, man, name's Buck. I got a little bit of a deal for you. So I saw your listing about the 04 Monte Carlo, and I'm willing to offer you a trade deal. Sight unseen. We trade. I got title. I have all the paperwork that you're going to need. But I have a 1990 IROC Camaro. It's got a V6 in it, and it is an automatic. But yeah, it's an IROC, man. All you got to do is go and find yourself an LS and put it in that sucker and go. The two-door coupe, it's a better two-door coupe. You got a Camaro. I think it's actually going to be worth your money here. I know you'd be losing fuel economy. I know you'd be losing the front-wheel drive. But think about it. You have an IROC Camaro that has a lot of potential, and it also is a fuel-injected one. So you don't have to worry about your carburetor. You don't have to do any of that. And you actually have a Camaro, not a Monte Carlo. You would be willing to do that? All right. Well, let me go grab the paperwork out of the glove boxes on that. I'll have you, if you wanted to, go take it for a test drive, see if you like it, come back, and we'll see what you think. How about that? Sweet. Well, thank you, Gregory. I'm glad you enjoyed your test drive, and we shall see you later. So we have now officially traded our way from a Coleman TC100 or whatever the little mini bike is, all the way up to this 04 Chevy Monte Carlo. Now, please excuse the no sounds. I know exactly what that's from. This car never had the sound files converted correctly when someone did it. But my next lead has me going to look at this mid-90s Jeep Grand Cherokee. Now, while it might not have the very desirable 4.7-liter Magnum V8, but it does have a great set of Michelin tires on it and a four-wheel drive system that I'm thinking I might be able to sweet-talk my way back into a relatively nice four-door sedan. Only time will tell, so let's go check it out. Now, I don't want to be that guy, but rolling up to the lot now, this might be our easiest trade that we do besides the four-wheeler right at the beginning, because, I mean, look at it. It's the same colored vehicle. It's got a Series 2 3800 in it, which is already a very reliable, dependable motor, and if you don't drive it like an absolute ding-dong, you can get pretty good gas mileage with these things. So let's go talk to the gentleman named Lucas, and we'll see whether or not we can make this trade happen. Lucas, glad to meet you, bud. I got a little bit of a trade deal for you. On your Facebook listing, you say you're looking to sell your Jeep here, or get something that's just a bit more fuel efficient. It's kind of hard to maintain a vehicle that only gets 12 miles to the gallon. I got something for you. It's not, of course, the most beautiful thing on the planet Earth, but I got an 04 Chevy Monte Carlo. It's a two-door coupe. You get probably 28, 27 miles to the gallon, as long as you're not driving dumb. But it's got a clean title, it's comfortable, it's got really good steering, and it's a lot more reliable. I mean, I could just literally swap titles, swap papers, and be out of your hair. You would? Well, thank you, sir. If you want to go take that for a test ride, I'll get the paperwork and everything filled out, and you'll be on your way. And just like that, we've worked our way up to this very not so reliable, gas-guzzling, four-wheel drive Jeep Grand Cherokee. Hopefully Lucas enjoys his Monte Carlo, but now I have to appease to a completely different audience, and if there's anyone that I think I might be able to make this work with, it's very possibly a listing I saw later last night about this 2012 Dodge Charger. Now, it might not be the most beautiful thing on earth, but this 2012 Charger does only have the V6. It's a retired police cruiser, so it does have some upgraded engine components. Now, I'm hoping that plus the reliability factor of the four-wheel drive in the Jeep might be enough to swindle this Charger out for nothing, but I can't tell for sure. I might have to negotiate a little bit harder for this deal. The one thing I really have to try and pitch is the four-wheel drive and the fact that you're going to be getting like the roof rack, the storage space. You're not necessarily losing seating, but you're definitely losing a little bit to gain probably about the same, just the dependability. The marketplace ad said he is looking for something that's probably four-wheel drive based, and my goal is, if you guys just saw that square body plow truck, that's kind of what I'm trying to go for. This won't do it, but the Charger just might. But there is our Charger, and this gentleman's name from the listing ad is Dwayne. So we're going to try and talk Dwayne here into possibly doing a little bit of some trading. We'll see what Dwayne thinks. Don't know how this one's going to go. This could be kind of rough. Dwayne, my name's Buck. I'm the guy that called you a little bit earlier about your 2012 Charger. I have a trade proposition for you. A four-wheel drive. It's got the 4.7 in it. Not the greatest of gas mileage, but you'd be gaining yourself four-wheel drive, brand new off-road all-terrain tires. It's got it's a manual. I know your listing said you're looking for something that's it's got a bit more ability in the winter. I mean, you got the standard transmission, four-wheel drive, and it's a V8. You're gaining 2 cylinders. I honestly think it's a pretty good deal. It's a pretty clean Jeep. And you'd be able to get rid of your Charger, which is just a heavy four-door sedan that can't get around in the winter. What would you say? Absolutely, yeah, we can go for a little test ride quick. So we'll fire it up. You can hear how it sounds. I mean, this thing runs good. You're just not going to have the fuel economy that you're going to have. And in reality, you say you're not going to get it getting around too much more than this. But it's a cheap vehicle. I'd be willing to just trade it straight up. I got the title and all the papers in the glove box. I'll take you for a round the block. We'll see what you think. I guess with all that being said, would this be of interest to you? I mean, you've seen the four-wheel drive shift. You've seen how the gears shift. All you'd really be losing is your gas mileage and maybe a little bit of leg room, but you're gaining all the storage in the back. You're basically getting a small compact SUV. You'd be willing to do it? Awesome, bud. I'll back into the driveway and we'll get everything figured out. Now, trading sight unseen might not have been my greatest idea for buying a Charger, and yeah, I don't, maybe it doesn't have a lifter tick. It just does have a squeaky belt, though. My goal, though, is to see whether or not I can trade this up for what you guys saw on my way in with the Jeep. What looks to be a mid-80s K10, possibly by the rally wheels, plow truck Silverado Chevrolet. Now, this time, unlike last time, I'm going to try and pitch the availability of passengers and slight fuel economy and see if I can maybe get this guy to budge. It's going to probably be hard to get a possible Chevrolet guy into the seat of a Chrysler product, but fuel economy, comfortability, and yeah, maybe because it was a law enforcement vehicle, reliability, but it's Chrysler. So now this gentleman's name is Dale. The listing on here says he is looking for something a bit more fuel efficient, probably rear-wheel drive, and sedan-based. So, excuse me, sir, might you be Dale? Great, my name's Buck. I bring one of a trade deal if it's something that interests you. I don't know if you're a hardcore General Motors guy, but I have this 2012 V6 Charger. It was actually a police interceptor. It's got four-door for 4 seats. It still has pretty good storage capacity, but you're also getting better fuel economy and just probably a better overall ride, I would say. If that's something that would interest you, it's got about 195,000 miles on it. You'd be willing to take it for a ride? Well, you do that. I'm going to take a look at this square body while you go do that. I don't really see this thing being a crown jewel, but the term square body and fanboy usually goes hand in hand sometimes. So, Dale, what are you thinking? Are you thinking this might actually be a deal for you? As much as you hate to agree, as much as you hate to say it, I mean, it's a good car. It's got its kinks. It's got its thing. I mean, it is Chrysler, but you can't really get that good of a deal for just a straight trade-off. I mean, the plow truck, that's just that. If you're willing to do it, I'm willing to trade it straight up right now. I'll get you title papers in hand. All right, Dale. Thank you, sir. You have a great one, and I'll see if I can maybe make something out of this truck. Now, it might be a stretch, but I think I might have found a potential candidate. This 1987 Chevrolet Monte Carlo. While definitely probably not the most likely candidate to be traded for a rusted out or really beat up square body, I can at least pitch the fact that you could turn the square body into a really nice truck. Plus, it's 4-wheel drive, and it already has a plow bracket in case he's just looking for something to get some extra work done. I highly doubt that is going to be enough to get this car. I really don't know. We're just going to have to see. And besides the wind at my back, the only thing basically going with me on this deal is the fact that it's a square body Chevy with 4-wheel drive. Other than that, I really don't have much going for me on this deal, but sometimes people surprise you. Sometimes things really can just work out. But this is probably going to be the biggest stretch that I'm going to be able to do. But if I could somehow swindle this Monte Carlo from this guy, there's a good chance that I might actually be able to trade that. Maybe not for a Harley, but I might just be able to get another square body, which definitely would get me anything. Well, howdy, Matt. I'm the guy who called you on the phone. I'm Buck. So the deal with the... Here's the deal. I'm super interested in your Monte, but I'm wanting to know if you wanted to do a trade. The trade would be for this 1982 it's a K10 Chevy. It's a K10. It's got 4-wheel drive on it. The paint is really the only thing that's wrong with it. Like, the frame's pretty solid. The interior, it could use reupholstered, but it's got a plow bracket on the front. It reads that it has only 10,000 on it, so it's probably about a 110,000 mile truck. It's got pretty good Firestone tires on it, and I mean, you already got a bumper pull system. It's only got a small 305 in it. It's an automatic. But you're getting 4-wheel drive, a plow system. You could probably do some trucking, snow plowing with it. I really don't know. I really want to pitch this, though. It's a square body. If you really would consider it, I'd be willing to do a trade straight up, that truck for this car. Only on one condition, and what might that be? You get my jacket, but I don't want to lose my jacket. This is like my 90s vintage jacket. You'll do the trade if I give you the jacket and the truck with the plow. Much as it pains me to do so, if it saves me money, I'll do it. I don't know how on earth I traded a 90s vintage jacket and an 82 square body for an 87 Monte Carlo, but here we sit. Oh! Oh, she's had some exhaust work done. Well, Matt, you're a really cool guy. I thank you, sir. You have a good one. At this point, I could trade for whatever the heck I wanted, but I think I want to try one last attempt at somebody's ad that I saw pop up about 3 hours ago while I was checking around the area where the Monte Carlo was, the other one, the 04. That being this green 1986 Scottsdale K20. If I can get this thing, because I know he says it's got a 454, he's looking for that. He's looking for something that's a 2-door coupe, it's got some wheels, and it's ready to go. If I can score this truck, there is absolutely nothing that I technically couldn't trade this thing for. So let's try our luck with this little old Monte Carlo and see if we can't make something that should never have worked in the first place happen. Yeah, I believe in my negotiation skills. I believe in myself, but I hate to say it, if I could trade a jacket and a piece of garbage square body for a Monte Carlo from 1987, I think I could probably trade a potato chip for a block of ketchup and somehow make it profitable. Now, the seller of this truck, Kevin, I don't know if this is going to be worth it, but we'll talk to him. We'll see what we can do. Good afternoon, sir. Might you be Kevin? Hey, my name's Buck. I was the guy who called you on the phone. So I have a trade offer for you. I'm working my way up. Kind of trying to go for a Harley, but I'm kind of deciphering if I want to get a Harley Davidson or an older Chevrolet. So I have a 1987 Chevy Monte Carlo. Two-door coupe, rear-wheel drive. It's got a 350 in it. It's got some exhaust work done to it. It kind of hums. I can show you. You could definitely hear it. Let me just start it up for you. See if that'll give you any sort of persuasion. How's that sound? It's got about 125,000 miles on the rounds for it, but I'd be willing to trade it straight up for that Scottsdale. I don't know if that's going to be enough. I don't have any cash on me, but it's a really clean Monte Carlo. I mean, the paint job is almost immaculate. It has everything going for it. You're going to get some looks. I don't know if it's as much as the Scottsdale, but it's an 87 Monte Carlo. Come on, man. I'd really be willing to just trade it straight up. Give you everything you got on it. Sight on scene. It runs. It drives. You want to take it for a drive? Please do. Can you trade me straight up for this truck? Only if you take it for a ride. We can do that. Hop on in. I'll show you all the gauges work, all of the fuel gauges, all of that stuff. If it does end up working, would you do this? If this car runs, drives, and carries on smoothly, you would? You consider it. All right, well, if anything, I'll head out just north of town here. We'll get on it. We'll see what you think. Here you go. Woo! Now, how about them ammos? They said once it kind of gets up to that topper range, it doesn't have as much pull on it. It's all about low-end torque, but it handles really, really well. Look at that. Now, Kevin, what are you thinking? I mean, you've seen the car. You've driven the car now, driving it back. It lets you drive around for quite a bit. Is it something that you'd be willing to just trade straight up for your Scottsdale? You would? Really? All right, well, I'll give you the keys here right once we get back, and I don't even want to test drive that Scottsdale. I literally will take it and drive it sight on scene. Well, thank you, Kevin. It has been a pleasure doing business with you. Enjoy your Monte Carlo. Thank you for your time, and thank you for the Scottsdale. But with this, I can guarantee you we're going to be able to trade this for that Harley Davidson Fatboy. You cannot tell me that nobody would trade for this truck. And this is the Harley that we'd be looking at. It is a Harley Davidson Fatboy. And the seller says he's just looking for something. He's trying to get rid of the bike. He wants to have something that's a little bit more practical, but is not looking to sell this thing cheap since it's a pretty new bike. Now, finding out whether a four-wheel drive K20 with a 454 big block in it under 100,000 miles is enough, we'll have to definitely find that one out when we get there. And a lot of you probably are going, stop, keep the square body, don't even worry about the Harley, but that's not the challenge. The challenge was to trade for absolutely zero money in my account, my pocket, my dimes, my wallet, to trade from a Coleman mini bike all the way up to a Harley Davidson. I'm pretty certain that we're going to be able to make this deal happen. All I have to hope for is that this guy is not a Ford or Chrysler guru and that he'll actually take a square body Chevy. And here's our Harley. Well, not mine yet, but there's the Harley. And we're going to have to talk to this gentleman named Rick. Whether we can get Rick to let go of that old Harley is going to be the challenge of the day. You, Rick? Well, howdy, friend. My name is Buck. I'm a guy who's looking on Facebook Marketplace, and I got a little bit of a trade deal for you. So I know you say you're looking for something a little bit more practical, probably something a little bit either sporty or nicer. What about a Scottsdale K20 with under 100,000 miles, original miles? I know it's probably the most stupid sale you've ever seen, but if you could known what I have traded to get to that truck, you would laugh hysterically. I've been working my way up to trade a Coleman tiny little mini bike all the way up to a Harley. You'll do it? You are a legend, Rick. I appreciate it. I honestly didn't think I'd be able to trade this. If you'd believe me, and somehow I managed to trade a square body just like this, an absolute piece of garbage for an 87 Monte Carlo had a 350 in it. Yeah, but I wouldn't believe it either. Let me just pop on. Look at that. I am going to head down to the Texas Roadhouse and get me a celebratory dinner. You have a good one. But that is going to do it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for checking this one out. Be sure to smash that like button, subscribe down below. If you'd like to see more videos kind of like this, where they're just a little bit out there, be sure to let me know that in the comment section down below. Also, be sure to check out the Boomstick Club for all the up-to-date content from me and the gang. You already know who is in it. But I have a steak dinner waiting for me. We'll see you guys all in the next one. This is the Rental Man out. Peace.